They called me 4 times in 2 minutes. I was mid-presentation, our biggest client of the year. When I saw Mom flash again, I stepped into the hallway. "You need to come home right now," she said. Her tone was clipped, urgent. "It's important, Emily." I'm Emily Carter, 32, senior analyst. The one who never ignores an emergency. I left my laptop open. Slides half finished, heart hammering through every red light. Dad's heart condition, Mom's diabetes. Something awful, I thought. But their cars were in the driveway. No ambulance, no flashing lights. Mom opened the door, hair perfect, voice colder than air. "From now on, you'll hand over your bonuses to your sister." Dad muted the TV. "She's struggling. Do your duty." It wasn't an emergency, it was a transaction. I stood there, still gripping my keys. The word urgent echoed in my skull. This was the emergency? My sister's rent? "Emily," Mom said, "don't make this difficult." I laughed, quiet, stunned. "You called me out of work. For this?" Her eyes didn't soften. Dad leaned forward. "You've done well. It's time to give back." Give back. As if success meant servitude. Chelsea had dropped out twice, burned through 4 jobs. And somehow I was the one who owed her. The golden child with hollow hands. "I said no," I repeated. Dad slammed his beer down. "Ungrateful." Mom's face twisted. "After everything we've done for you?" They meant after raising you, after doing the bare minimum, after molding you into our provider. I walked out, shaking. By the time I reached Pasadena, 19 texts were waiting. "Mom told me what you said. You're heartless. I need 11,000 or I'll be homeless." The same number repeated like a curse. 11,000. Half my savings. Half my peace. I typed one sentence. "Don't text again." But the night didn't let me rest. I kept replaying every moment. Every time Mom said, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" Every birthday Chelsea ruined with tears she rehearsed. Every compliment that ended with, "You're so lucky, Emily." Lucky. That word tasted bitter now. Lucky to work 60 hours. Lucky to be their insurance policy. Until midnight. Another buzz. Another lie. "Maya, we've been in an accident. Dad's in critical condition. Please send $11,000 for the hospital." My throat closed. The same number. The same script. Even fear had a price tag. They didn't raise me. They invested in me. And wanted returns. The messages kept coming. Each one louder, more desperate, more manipulative. "Dad's in critical condition. They won't treat him without money. Please, Emily, $11,000 right now." The number again. The same number. I froze in my kitchen, phone glowing like an alarm. My heart said run. My head said check. I called Riverside Community first. "Robert Carter, car accident maybe an hour ago." The nurse typed. Paused. "I'm sorry, ma'am. No patient by that name." I tried another hospital. Then another. Nothing. No Robert Carter anywhere. By the 4th call, my pulse had gone still. They lied. They used death as a password to my savings. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Something inside me turned off, like a switch. I opened my laptop. 1:03 a.m. Bank accounts, insurance, investments. I downloaded every statement, every record. Proof that my life was mine. 200 a.m. I froze my credit cards. Filed for new passwords. Changed my phone number. 300 a.m. I emailed HR in Barcelona. Subject line, transfer acceptance. The position I'd ignored for a year, now my escape plan. 4 a.m. I contacted a real estate agent, listed my condo, scheduled a meeting to sell my car. By sunrise, my mind was clear. No shaking, no tears. Just clarity. I packed 2 suitcases, a carry-on, and a folder labeled Freedom. At 8:03, I stood at the bank when doors opened. Transferred every dollar into a new account. No joint access. No traceable link. By 9:02, I was driving to LAX with my windows down. No music. Just silence loud enough to breathe in. I remembered the first time they offered the Barcelona role. Mom had said, "Don't go too far, Chelsea needs you." So I stayed. I thought family meant proximity. Now I knew. It meant chains. At the terminal, my hands trembled. Not from fear, but release. 1 boarding pass. 1 way. No return address. At 11:30, my flight lifted off. I didn't look back. Didn't send a final text. Didn't explain. Let them wonder. Let them call it betrayal. I called it survival. When the wheels left California soil, I realized something strange. I wasn't running from them. I was returning to myself. The seatbelt light blinked off. I opened the window shade. The sky looked like forgiveness. When the plane touched down in Barcelona, the air smelled like citrus and rain. Announcements echoed in Catalan. For the first time, no one knew my name. And that anonymity felt holy. I stepped onto foreign ground. Heart steady, future wide open. If love was real, why did it need routing numbers? Barcelona smelled like sea salt and espresso. The city hummed in a language my pain didn't understand. For weeks, I spoke only in smiles and silence. Work came fast. My new office overlooked the Mediterranean. No one there called me selfish. No one asked for my paycheck. Then one morning, 92 missed calls, 67 texts, 4 emails. The sender: Carter Family Legal Services. A Gmail address, not a firm. Subject line: theft of family assets. The body was chaos. Legal consequences. Financial abuse. Report to court immediately. No letterhead, no citations, no shame. I read it twice, strangely calm. Then I opened my banking app. My money was there. All of it. Relief slid through me like sunlight through blinds. They hadn't touched a thing. They just wanted to scare me back. Next came the voicemails. Mom's voice, cold and clipped. Emily, stop this nonsense and call us immediately. Then Dad: your mother's having a breakdown because of you. 6 from Chelsea, swinging between sobs and threats. I deleted them all. Every single one. Then I laughed. Out loud. Alone in my tiny kitchen. Tiles cool beneath my bare feet. Sea wind pushing the balcony curtains. That laughter felt dangerous. It sounded like a lock finally clicking open. The sound of a woman unclenching. I made coffee and stepped outside. Barcelona glittered like a promise. Boats winked in the harbor, gulls scribbling across the sky. They could forge fear, guilt, emergencies. They couldn't fake control anymore. Not here, not now. Days passed. The messages slowed. Silence returned, and it belonged to me. But freedom has an echo. It asks hard questions. Why did I ever believe they loved me well? Because I was trained to earn affection, to confuse obedience with care, silence with peace, money with love. On the metro home, I watched strangers. Bodies swaying, lives separate, no claims, nobody asking for my balance. I exhaled, like leaving a church. I walked the harbor path at sunset. Fishermen mended nets. Children chased foam along the stones. This, I thought, is what family should sound like. The air smelled of salt and diesel. The water burned gold under a falling sun. Every ripple looked like closure. My jacket snapped in the wind. I told the sea a secret. You don't owe them anything anymore. A week later, a real letter arrived. Letterhead. Bar number. Polished threats. Wrongful withholding of support funds. I forwarded it to my attorney. He called laughing. They have no case, he said. They're hoping you'll panic and pay. I watched the horizon soften to blue. I didn't feel guilty for being safe. I felt new. I turned back toward home. Heart steady. Address unknown. I didn't slam the door. I erased the address. It started with a letter. Cream envelope. Familiar handwriting. No return address. Just my mother's looping cursive. I almost threw it away. But curiosity is a stubborn thing. I opened it with shaking hands. 8 pages. Front and back. A masterpiece of guilt. Page 1. The history of my ingratitude. Page 2. Every meal they ever paid for. Page 3. Chelsea's pain, measured in dollars. By page 6, they were rewriting our family. They called my independence financial cruelty. They called my silence emotional abuse. And then came the final paragraph. If you send us $50,000, we can rebuild this family. Otherwise, I'd regret this forever. I read it twice. Then I started to laugh. The same kind of laugh that once frightened me. The one that meant I was done. I fed the pages into my office shredder. One by one. The hum of the blades sounded holy. White confetti poured into the bin, like snowfall over a grave. For every shredded line, a piece of their control disintegrated. I watched until nothing was left. Then I poured coffee, sat on the floor, and breathed in peace. For 32 years, they'd trained me to apologize for existing. Every choice had come with a price tag. Every act of love, a receipt. But that morning, I realized something simple. You can't buy love from people who only sell conditions. I called my therapist. I just shredded a letter, I said. She wanted $50,000 to fix our relationship. My voice didn't shake. What do you feel right now? She asked. Nothing, I said. Or maybe relief. That's not nothing, she told me. That's freedom. That word lingered long after the call. Freedom. Not the escape kind. The earned kind. I walked to the beach that evening. Tourists laughed in the surf. A couple argued about ice cream flavors. Real problems. Normal problems. I dug my toes into the sand. The sea was cold. honest. It didn't ask me for anything. Behind me, the city glowed alive. Not a single light belonged to my past. I whispered to the waves. This is what survival sounds like. And maybe for the first time ever, I didn't feel like someone's daughter. I felt like myself. The tide rolled higher, washing my footprints into nothing. Every mark they left, gone. Like I'd never walked that path at all. I smiled at the water and thought of the girl who used to beg to be loved. She was gone too, finally resting. The wind caught my hair, and the city lights flickered like forgiveness. They called it betrayal. I called it beginning. 5 years later, I woke to the sound of rain on glass. Barcelona rain. Soft, insistent, cleansing. Miguel was making coffee in the kitchen. Our daughter, Luna, was stacking wooden blocks on the floor. The sound of her laughter filled the apartment like sunlight. Sometimes I still think about the girl I used to be. The one who mistook obedience for love. The one who believed silence kept families whole. She doesn't live here anymore. Here, mornings smell like espresso and cinnamon. Bills get paid because I earned them. Nobody demands explanations or access codes. When Luna tugs at my sleeve and asks for a story, I tell her about courage, about choosing yourself before the world tells you not to. I don't mention my parents. She doesn't need to inherit my ghosts. Last week, a letter came from California. No return address, just handwriting I'll never forget. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I dropped it into the recycling bin, right between grocery ads and pizza flyers. Some goodbyes don't need punctuation. In therapy, I learned that forgiveness isn't always about letting them back in. Sometimes it's just letting yourself leave. I don't hate them anymore. Hate keeps you tethered. Indifference is freedom. Luna calls from the window. Mom, the sun's back! She's right. Light breaks through the storm. I watch her dance in the living room. Barefoot, fearless, whole. And I make a quiet promise. She will never have to buy love to earn it. Miguel kisses my shoulder. And for a moment, the world feels quiet again. Not empty, just peaceful. I glance at the skyline. The city glows gold and alive. A life I built. A life I own. No one can claim it. No one can take it. Because peace isn't given. It's claimed. If you've ever had to walk away to save yourself, you're not alone. Tell me in the comments, what did freedom look like for you?